Hey y'all, how y'all doing? This is Coach Dwight Johnson, the owner of Total Athlete Sports Complex, and welcome to our Total Athlete Talk podcast. What I have now, I have some guests. I have my wife that's on my right, Mia Lewis Johnson. Also, I have my son, Dwight Johnson Jr., and we're going to talk about trusting the process. As you see, that's my shirt. Let me say that again, trust the process. That is a motto that we say all the time here at Total Athlete Sports Complex. When a young person comes in our gym, the first thing we show them is that wall of fame. And we tell them that, hey, every young person on that wall of fame has to trust the process. And everybody's story is different. Everybody's process is different. So we tell them the process is preparing you to be a better version of yourself, preparing you to be a better athlete, a better student, and overall a better person. So you have to trust the process, because in the midst of it all, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard. It's going to be tall. It's going to be some failures, but you got to have a goal in mind. You got to be focused on something down the road to say, you know what? I have a goal, or I have an end goal that I'm trying to get to, and I'm willing to go through whatever it takes to get there. Whether it's rain, sleet, or snow, I don't care how much dirt is thrown in my face, I'm going to stay focused, and I'm going to trust the process. So we made these nice fancy shirts called Trust the Process. All our athletes wear them, T-shirts. We actually got hoodies. My wife and my son are wearing the hoodies, and I have the nice sweater. I like the sweater look. But trust the process, that's what it's all about. So we're talking about trust the process. Now, Mia, my wife, I'm going to ask you first, what does trust the process mean to you?
Trusting the process to me, from a parental standpoint, a mom of athletes and a former athlete, it just really means that we all know what a seed is. Everything starts from a seed, right? Mm-hmm. But that seed is actually the harvest, okay? Mm-hmm. And you have to remember that at seed stage, you are still harvest. But there is a whole process, right, of when you have a seed for it to get to harvest. So although we're talking about athletes and we're talking about life right now, we need you to understand that even when it's small, the dream is small. If you trust the process, you will reap the harvest in the end.
That's a good one. DJ, what does trust the process means to you?
What trust the process mean to me is like whatever you're going through, just keep on working,
right.
keep on working. And your goal that you are working for, you will get there one day.
Now, I'm going to go into how I came up with trusting the process, or trust the process. You know, for years, I told all my athletes that come through the program, hey, trust the process. Trust the process. It's going to work out for you. But I was seeing it from an outside looking in, perspective. You know, a lot of times, life will test you based off of what you say, see if you're really true to your words. And I was tested. I'm going to be honest with you. I was tested, trust the process. And all these young people on this wall end up getting scholarships, and it worked out for them. But what happens when you have to trust the process with your own son? And when the fruits of his labor are not coming to fruition, and you saying like, whoo, man, you have to stay committed to it, and you have to motivate and encourage him at the same time. So about 3 years ago, when my son was a sophomore, he received some offers early after his freshman year, going into his 10th grade year, Vanderbilt, Georgia Tech, Western Carolina. He had a few offers. Then it just went dry. His whole 10th grade year, he didn't get any offers. He had a big year. He was first team All-State. I'm like, man, this is crazy. So going from his 10th to the 11th grade year, we went to a lot of camps. Like, oh, it's going to work out for you. And he's seeing all his buddies get offers. And I always tell my son, listen, comparison is the thief of all joy. Don't focus on what they have. You just stay in your lane. It's going to work out for you. You just stay focused and you keep working hard, and what? Trust the process. And I'm telling you, it came to a point to where, he was tested. I saw a tear fall out his eye one time. We went to one of these camps, and we were supposed to be offered. They tell you to come to these camps. Hey, come to this camp. We want to see your boy. Then we'll offer him afterwards. And when he does well at the camp and no one offers him, we looking like, okay, where's the offer? The coach just disappeared. I'm like, man, what's going on? And during that time, you got to encourage your son. And I think that's important as parents. When the world rejects our children or beat them down, listen, it's our responsibility to encourage them, to keep them built up because, listen, they're still developing. He was a 16-year-old young man with dreams of playing D1 college football. And it was tough, but I saw that tear fall out of his eye, and I told him this. I said, son, use that as fuel for the fire to make you great going into your junior year. And his junior year at Dutchtown came through. He blew the roof off the building. You're talking about defensive player of the year, first team All-State, everything. And I always teach my children, I teach my athletes, listen, if something doesn't go right at the time, just know that there's something bigger and better for you down the road. Now, I'm going to turn the attention over to my wife. A lot of people don't know she's a great athlete as well. I tell everybody, my son, he get a lot of his athletic ability from my wife as well, not just from me. I can't take all the credit. But Mia, tell us your point of view of the path that you had to take as an athlete, as a basketball player.
Right. Well, as you all know, it's a total different type of generation or whatever, but I'm from a small town in West Virginia, Dunbar, West Virginia, Motob in the house. And I remember not thinking that it was really going to be possible. I remember when God came to me and he clearly showed me in the 6th grade that I was going to get a scholarship to college. However, I was from a really, really small place. And getting what you need out of a place from where I'm from is at that time is probably like winning the lottery. So when I think about trusting the process as a young person, it takes me to now being his mom because I understand that at that time that God was giving me everything that I needed to be able to deposit into DJ later when he was having to trust his own process, small town, thinking people that are for you are finding out the people that are for you are not really for you. So in trusting the process, getting everything that I needed, I keep talking about that kind of parable of the seed and the harvest, not even understanding that, my seed time, which did turn into my harvest time, I was awarded, a full scholarship to play, D1 basketball, not knowing that some of the process that I was going through as a young person, I was then going to need that, as a mother to be able to push him when sometimes he didn't want to be pushed and sometimes when he needed to be pushed from a stern standpoint. And also from when it was time, to wrap my arms around him and let him know that he was still going to make it. From an education standpoint, I was big on that. He's laughing. He stayed on it, right? Big on that because I always knew, listen, we know student athlete. People just think that word, those two words together are just student athlete. Right. But DJ found out very quickly, right? When he stepped on a college campus, he found out very quickly what that really meant. Now he knew what that meant in high school, but it's a total different, standpoint when you're in college. And now mom and dad are away, and now you're 18, aka an adult. So just trusting the process from being an athlete that was his age at one time, that understood hard work, determination, being from a place where people say you're not going to make it, no one is going to find you, to then being able to deposit those real world experiences into my child from an athlete perspective and from a mom perspective.
So Mia, tell them about, a little bit of the process of you playing basketball and how did you start playing basketball and what age and, kind of how you work your way up in the ranks,
right?
To be one of the best basketball players, or girl basketball players, or high school basketball players that came out of West Virginia during that time.
Small town, West Virginia. I had to sneak to play basketball. My dad didn't let us play any sports. And so I was a tomboy, major tomboy. And so I was the neighborhood girl that, was out there taking the bumps and bruises, which I think, too, is another way where DJ got some of his toughness. I didn't know I was a girl for a long time, put it that way, in regards to sports. Because, hey, as my sister and anybody would tell you, I probably had more fights than the average guy did. But I didn't know at that time that process was making me strong, right? Mentally and physically. So I snuck, and then I believe the reason why I wasn't able to play is because of our religion. My dad was a Jehovah's Witness, and they just, I don't know, have their own rules for everything. So one day, I'm in junior high now, so I have never played competitively. I've never played any, what's the word, Dwight, whenever you play? I guess it's organized. I had never played organized. I was just that, girl from the neighborhood that when you went and played against the neighborhood, your neighborhood was behind you, right? So now the schools are converging, right? Now your neighborhood, you're going to an elementary school. The elementary school converges into a middle school. So now we really going to find out if you're about that life. So I snuck to play one time, not knowing that my dad was watching me. I got home. He saw me and he said, you know what? You have a gift. I'm not going to take this off the table for you. And the rest is history. I started balling, scoring 60, dropping 60 on people's head in a regular fashion, and we're gonna leave it at that.
Yeah. So let's go to this side of the room, and DJ, talk to him about the process for you and how you started. From Little League, when your first day when you got hit in the sternum, and then it was out there, and you got the wind knocked out of you. First day in pass, you were 6 years old. You was kind of shook. And then it said, boy, get back in there. You know what I mean? But let me say this before I let him talk. Sometimes you just need that father figure or that male to stand behind you. That at that age, it's all about building confidence. Once you build that kid's confidence, you stand behind him and say, Daddy got your back. Go do what you got to do. And everything else falls into place. But DJ, explain your process.
So my process was I started football when I was 6 years old. I was 6 years old playing 7U football. My dad, he actually made me play upper age group when I was younger because I was so aggressive. I was already like mentally and mentally and physically there to play with the older kids. So I played with the older kids. I remember like yesterday, my first practice in summertime, first padded practice, whatever. Like I remember I did good and then began to practice. Then we did Oklahoma drills. I ran too high. And then the running back ducked his head and hit me dead in my chest. I remember me just lay down on the ground, like seeing stars and stuff like that. I was dazed off, stuff like that. I remember my dad hold me in his hand, like, get up, boy, get up, stuff like that, boy, get up, stuff like that. Then I remember for me, for like a week on, I was a little timid and stuff like that. But then yeah, it just clicked, stuff like that. Then I just started playing. Then I just started playing football again, stuff like that. My little league career went good, stuff like that.
Little league career.
Yeah, little league career. My little league. Yeah. I'm gonna talk about that too. Like I played with the North McDonough Cougars first. Those were the team I played upper age level with. Then I went down to my right age group. I played with the North Henry Tigers. We was the number one team in the nation. Well, majority of the time number two team in the nation, but we was number
Atlanta Ducks.
Yeah.
Hey Brandon.
Yeah, we was one of the best teams in the country. Then I ended up North Henry and the Ducks ended up combining for 13U. Then we ended up playing for them, becoming the number one team in the country. The high school, I ended up going to Dutchtown High School for all 4 years. Standout player, one of the best players to ever come out of that school. I got 3-time first team all state, 2 times defensive player of the year. All metro area, Metro Atlanta, South Fulton, all that. Basically, Atlanta Defensive Player of the Year, stuff like that. So I have a lot of accolades with me, stuff like that. But
can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
So remember when you were McDonough Cougars, and this made me think of the mamas right now. So that very first play when you were doing the Oklahoma drill and the young man, I remember it like it was yesterday, y'all, and the helmet went into your chest and my son is laying there. I'm saying this to the moms because, listen, that was a pivotal moment as a mom. It was a pivotal moment as a wife. It was a pivotal moment for DJ in his career because I had to trust at that moment that his dad had him. It's kind of like me, for example, I got on a horse one time and the horse bucked me off. And instead of getting back on the horse right then and there, I've never gotten back on a horse again because I'm afraid now, right? So that was a pivotal moment with DJ because sometimes as mothers, the way that we react, right, to that initial shock or disappointment for a child or something not going right the first time, the way that we react can actually be a good thing or a bad thing. And in this case, I heard God literally say, let his dad do what he needs to do. He has him. He's on the field. I was ready to jump over the fence. He said, do not jump over the fence because you may be the reason why he doesn't get to where he needs to be. He has it.
DJ, to tell your process, tell the struggle that you had to go. Tell your story, man.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people think that just 'cause my dad and my uncle played NFL, that this was given to me one and a darn thing given to me straight up. I got this junk straight from the dirt, straight up. I'm not gonna lie to you. And a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people doubted me, stuff like that. Everybody just think it's all easy. Oh, your dad in NFL, your uncle in NFL. That's why you ECU know. You can look at my film and look at my work and say like I did this myself. Know what I mean? Stuff like, well, not myself. They did help me out, of course. But I'm just saying, like with them playing NFL, they have nothing to do with me here and stuff like that. But nah, basically, I did go through a lot of adversity in my life. Still going through adversity now and stuff like that, though. But basically, I had a lot of people doubting me and stuff like that, telling me I ain't. I'm not who I think I am. So that people talking down on me in my face. People like, I don't know if y'all can recognize, I have a stuttering problem, so I used to get bullied. I don't want to say verbally, I used to get verbally bullied, stuff like that. People used to always make fun of me about my stuttering and stuff like that. Know what I mean? My dad used to have to teach me on how to control my anger, because I ain't gonna lie, when I was younger, I used to try to fight everybody. I'm gonna be real with you.
I think you should talk about that. Talk about that.
Yeah, I used to try to fight everybody and stuff like that. Yeah. But me, I'm glad my dad taught me that, me at that age. Stuff like that. It taught me how to control my temper, stuff like that, though. Yeah. Because I'm a naturally aggressive person and stuff like that, though. And but besides that, though, I went through a lot of adversity. People, even my own teammates, people saying that I ain't this, I ain't that. You got defense player of the year, that was luck. You got first team All State, that was luck. Then I did it 2 more times. Then I ain't saying nothing. But anyway, regardless though, I went through a lot of adversity, even with college coaches. I remember a story, not gonna say college name. I went to a college and stuff like that. Went to a college during the season. I want to say this was like mid-season, one of that.
Yeah,
mid-season.
It was mid-season. Yeah. We drove like 7 hours.
More than that.
I remember.
It was
8 hours.
It was in my junior season. Yeah, then we drove up there and stuff like that. It was on a late notice too. I remember the college coach had tested your recruiter, the recruiter of Total Athlete, and texted him like, yeah, man, we want him up here, blase. I wouldn't be surprised when we get an offer. So we go up there with the boot. I come in. I remember I come in and get measured and stuff like that. The coach is standing right there in front of me. While I go up to him, dap him up. He gave me one dapper right here. He looked for other people to dap up. So I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? Like, in my head, I'm thinking like, okay. I'm still trying to stay positive. I'm like, okay, he probably ain't recognized it was me. Stuff like that. When like right before the game, we all eating in the little indoor facility. Yeah. He come with everybody else but me. I'm like, man, dang, like, okay, like I'm talking about that. I'm like, man, like, shoot, what's up? Like, basically, like, in my head, I'm saying, like, I know we ain't drive no dang 10 hours to come up here just for some brisket. Straight up.
That's exactly what you said to me. You said, I did not drive up here for a meal. I remember that. I remember.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember he ain't saying nothing to me. I remember I was frustrated. I don't like crying, stuff like that. I really don't like crying. Then I remember I got I tried to hide it, but a little bit of tear came in my eye and stuff like that.
I remember that.
A little bit of tear came in my eye and stuff like that. But I remember then, like, after the game, tried one more time. That he ain't even like we went to go meet me and my dad. We go talk to him and stuff like that. They had just lost the game. I give him the benefit of the doubt, but he still wasn't trying to talk to me. I did not talk to like the stuff he was saying to my recruiter. He wasn't talking no recruiting stuff. He was just acting like I was just a regular recruit. Stuff like that. I was like, okay, cool. Yeah. I remember that night, I remember it was in October 2021. I had went in a little gym and ran my butt off, worked my butt off, stuff like that. I remember saying to myself, I was like, man, ain't no coach ever played me like this a day in his life. No more, straight up. Straight up. Then I remember on from that season, like I was already having a good season. After that, I had turned to a whole nother level. Next week, pick 6, 10 plus tackles, everything, stuff like that. Like I feel like that was like one of my main turning points and stuff like that. But,
so turning point then of rejection, right? And sometimes, rejection is painful, but rejection can also be powerful if channeled the right way. So you see where, just a 10-hour drive trip that was supposed to turn into something didn't turn into something, but guess what? It turned into something because in his next season, I don't know what word your generation uses, mine, ham. He was that guy. He went off or whatever. Yeah. So, go ahead, baby.
That's what I was saying, but yeah, but that junk carried on to next year. I was working. Like I'm always been a hard worker, but but like when I tell you like hard, like sweating, yelling, intense, everything. Like every time I work out, like yes, like literally, like I was in killer mode 24/7.
Fuel for the fire.
Fuel for the fire, stuff like that. I was,
and when you went on, your senior year and led Dutchtown to the farthest in the playoffs they ever been in their history.
Yeah, semifinals.
To the semifinals.
Yeah,
and you was that crucial guy to take them to that. From that third round, we kept fizzling out in the third round to get us over the hump.
Yeah.
I always say big players make big plays in big games. You know what I'm saying? You got to stand up and make them plays. But yeah, man.
Then, my bad, I ain't right. But crazy about the same people that was talking down on me and seeing saying he better than you. When we was in the big game, guess what they called on? Me.
Yeah. That's right. How important is it how important was it for you that even when you were trusting the process and, you had your doubters and you had, the people talking junk on social media, like, let's make it real. Let's make it really real what it was. This is not just whispering and murmuring. This is, I'm walking down the hall in school and people are saying something and I'm being bullied on social media, people texting you, trying to pit you and your best friend together. Yes, that happened. Against each other, excuse me. Best friend against each other. Shout out to Popo right now. But how important was it to have a support unit at home that in the midst of all the chaos, all the naysayers, how important was it to be able to come home and to have a group of people that you could, really be real with, let your hair down, be protected, but also still be supported? How I don't know if that's a real long question. Just how important was it to have a strong support unit, supporting cast during the time when people are not saying the best things or you're not feeling the best?
It is definitely very, very important to have a strong team around you, like my parents. I feel like they did an amazing job with that, stuff like that. They did an amazing job encouraging me, telling me don't to worry about it and stuff like that, work hard and stuff like that. They wasn't giving me no sob story and nothing like that, just being real. I mean, my dad was like, hey, work hard and show them, stuff like that. But he was saying at the same time, don't let that make you and your best friend not be cool no more, stuff like that. You know what I mean? 'Cause they would try to turn me and my brother against each other, stuff like that. But basically, it's very important. Like like you need to have that people around you to give you the right wisdom on how to go about stuff like that.
And also, as parents, listen, as a coach, we coach the athlete based off of their potential, where they're going. As a parent, we have to speak the blessings over our children.
Yes.
You know, and I tell everybody, listen, you're the parent of this young child. You have the power to speak blessings over your own children. It's biblical. Abraham spoke the blessing over Isaac, right? Isaac spoke the blessing over Jacob. Jacob spoke the blessing over Joseph. You have the power, and a lot of parents don't know they have the power to speak the blessings over their children. And sometimes we can speak the curses over.
That's true.
People can speak the curses over their children.
That's true.
And you know, that's and words stick, which they say sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt. Listen, words hurt more than anything.
That's right. That's big. I want to piggyback off of that when he's saying speaking the power and is power in the tongue, right?
Yes.
One thing I can definitely say is it didn't matter what the world was saying about our child. It didn't matter if they say, "Oh, you missed this tackle," or "Oh, you're not this," "Oh, you're not that." When he came home, he was him. Yes, I know that's not grammatically correct. He was him. He was born him. You understand? Unapologetically, he was born him. He is him now, and he's still going to be him in the future.
You know, I want to talk about the importance of investing in your child. You know, listen, what you put in is what you get out. I see parents all day that come in and they love our program, and they quick to sign their child up and put them in our program because they want to develop them. They want us to mold them. But you got some parents that are kind of apprehensive. Did I say that right?
Yes, sir.
You know, and they kind of, but I always say this, listen, no one has invested in their child more than I have. I'm going to be honest with you. I opened this facility when he started playing football back in 2011 for 13 years. I opened it because I wanted the best for my son. I wanted to hire the best trainers to train him. I want to prepare him for where he's at today. And look, he is trusting the process. So I tell people, listen, you got to invest in your child. You know, you have to.
Period.
Yeah.
We
invest in everything else. You know, we'll buy them tennis shoes and all this stuff for Christmas. That this stuff's going to wear off. You know, it's going to get old. You know, but invest in their future, because nowadays a scholarship, a 4-year scholarship at a D1 university, that's what, $250,000 easily, and that's not talking about any of the NIL deals that these athletes are getting that are D1.
Right.
You know, so it can really go up there, but you have to put that investment. It has to be a priority to you.
Right.
Go ahead.
I'm going to piggyback off of investing. So you don't want to have what you call a woulda, shoulda, coulda at the end, because he started at whatever age and he's this age now. Had we not done what we were supposed to do, this is a woulda, shoulda, coulda moment. We miss out on what DJ is experiencing now for pleasures and things that really don't mean anything, right? So parents, don't think twice about investing in your children, whether it's athletically, academically, whatever the case may be, because you're going to get a return on investment. That's what this is. This is about ROI, and your ROI is your ROI. My ROI, my husband's ROI is for all these children to go from seed to harvest time. And my ROI was his first big, what he wanted a return and investment for himself was his first big one was he wanted to be a Division I college athlete. So don't skimp on that.
We have to recognize our child's talent and give and see that and know how to channel it in the right direction. You know, I think that, you know, when I saw his at a young age,
right?
You know, he's a good football player, but he's just as good of a basketball player. But I realized he's an athlete. When he got older, going in high school, let's start to focus on in ninth grade is go football path, because you know, basketball, you know, you got to be all this type of height and stuff like that. I know you can shoot the ball and shoot the lights out the gym like your mom,
and dribble,
but you are a football player. and as parents, we know best.
Yeah.
You know, we have to know best, you know, because I see it sometimes when parents will say, you know, I see if my son likes it. I see if my daughter likes this. You know, and I was like, well, a child doesn't know what's best for them at this age. You know, they eat cookies and cake and play video games all day, candy,
and they think that's good for them, but it's not. But you put some vegetables in front of them, you put some real food in front of them, they want to play in it, stuff like that.
Right. They want to play.
But sometimes what you need, you know what I mean, what's good for you, you know, we may not like.
That's right.
We may not like the hard work. We might not like the pain or I'm sore from doing all these push-ups and running. But guess what? It's good for you down the road.
That's
cool. So yeah.
I'm gonna piggyback off that. What's good for you? DJ started very young training, right? So you hear him talk about his mentality, right? This was not developed overnight, right? This is something that was day in, day out. Think about it. He's 19, 20 years old. He worked for 14 of his 20 years on a goal. There are grown people that haven't worked for 14 consecutive years, right, on a goal. So
you're right about that.
DJ, I just want to tell you, like, I know hopefully it comes across the right way. Yeah. I'm beyond proud of you. I know you have more work to do, way more work to do or whatever, but
right.
The process is working out for you.
It is. Just keep trusting the process.
I have never heard my son, specifically from a physical standpoint, and I'm still amazed at this. I have never once heard him complain about being sore, about running, about it being too cold, about it being too hot, about it being too hard, about anything. And I know now that some of those things, we're talking about athletics, right? But these are the things that transfer over mentally to life. And also when he's at school and there are other quote unquote, what we call dogs. You understand what I'm saying? There are other people who have sent their kids to school who are competing against him, right? But that mentality, that process that you take them through mentally as well, that is big or bigger than just, the lifting the weights or whatever. Because what are you going to do? What are you going to do when the world tells you, oh, you're 6 feet, 6'1", you need to be 6'3", right? What are you going to do when the world is telling you everything that you aren't? And also you meet up on a team with other people who want the same thing that you want, right? What's the difference? So now we measure, we're both athletes, we're both strong, we're whatever, but mentally, can I, through my process of what I've gone through, can I beat you? Does that make sense what I'm saying? Yeah, you've experienced that, right? Sense. Haven't you experienced that? Tell us something about how, listen, your brawn is you're strong and everything or whatever, but tell us about some experiences that maybe you had where your brawn and your stature and your size was not the thing that made you successful or that made you win. Can you tell us something about that?
I couldn't say a situation because there's so many.
There's so many
of them, but yeah, definitely though. I've definitely put them in situations where I ain't gonna quit nothing like that. Right? You know what I mean? Like you could be the biggest, strongest, like you can be the biggest dude out there. Like, but if you don't have the mentality, you ain't nothing. Like the lion, he ain't the biggest. He's not the biggest animal.
He's not the biggest.
Who's the biggest elephant? Yeah. Right. I mean, who's the biggest? Elephant. That's right. And a giraffe. Am I lying? Right.
Right.
Tallest and the biggest. But that don't mean. But I don't mean nothing though. Like like another thing, honey badger is the meanest animal. Like the meanest animal in the world.
You're right, DJ. Right. You're right.
Yeah, it's all about your mindset.
And I always say this: you got to have that coachable spirit.
Right.
You know what I mean? You got to have that coachable spirit. You got to be coachable. So whatever I say to my children, they receive it.
Right.
See, if I speak the blessing, they got to receive it. Right. You see what I'm saying? Because a lot of people are speaking it and the kids are like, okay, they don't respect what their parents say, then nothing's going to manifest. But if he take mama, daddy's word as gold, like, hey, I accept that. Whether it's a correction or it's motivation.
Right.
You know what I mean? Both of them are needed.
I'll go back to mentality one more time too. Also understand that mediocre or great mentalities create disruptance or disrupt the atmosphere in mediocre places. So, for example, if you're a player and not just player. We talk about life, period. Y'all be aware of this.
Yes.
That, for example, my son said that he's always on go. So because we have conversation all the time, I'm going to let him, I'm going to say it, and then hopefully he'll pick up there and he'll be able to say it in a better way than me. So when you're a player that's always on go, and now I'm in college, right? I have a scholarship. I'm trying to get on the field. This is dog eat dog, feast or famine type of mentality. You got to understand that when you're a player who is always on go, there are players on the team who are not always on go. And what they will try to do is they will try to make you feel bad or make you feel like you're doing too much because you're going 100. No, I'm going 100 because I have a goal here. And because you want to go 50, then you want to try to make me feel bad about going that you're going 50, and then you want to try to spread this, what do you want to call it, DJ, this mentality or talk to me in a way that, hey man, you're doing too much. Listen, young men and women, you're not doing too much. You have a goal. You need to keep your foot on their necks.
Keep your foot on the gas pedal.
Keep your foot on your necks, because your time, you don't know who's watching, right? You don't know who's waiting for you to take that play off. You have the players when we're supposed to run to the line, right? You have the player that only runs to the line when the coach is watching. No, we taught him to run to the line every single time, so that when that player does take that time off, or he does take the break, or he does take off, I was already on your neck.
Cool. So before we close, I want to ask both of you, what is your fondest memory in sports? You know, that memory that just stands out the most, that brought you so much. You felt like you was on top of the world. You know what I mean? What's that fondest memory of your basketball career, you know, that you can share with the audience?
So initially, I first thought about, because, you know, scorers like to score, right? So initially, the first thing I thought about was, you know, being a seventh grader, never playing organized before, you know, end up averaging 40, 50 points a game, you know, dropping games, 63, 65 points. But
wow,
I think my favorite moment was against Roosevelt. I'll never forget that. They were our rivals, and they had some ballers. They had some players. If you just looked at the lineup, you would think, okay, they have more on their side than we have on our side. Wow. And the score was low. This is back in the day. The score was low. The score was 31-30. No, you got jokes. 31-30. But I remember that we won 31-30, and I scored 31 points. So that is my fondest, that's my fondest memory. And the game was won at the foul line. And so, you know how, and I'll end it with this. So anybody that's an athlete, especially a basketball player, you know, do you know how many times you have been on the basketball court in the rain, sleet, snow, and you've played that 3 seconds on the clock, 2 seconds on the clock, 1 second on the clock. Oh, I got fouled and the game is tied. I literally had that moment where this game was 31-30. And if I remember right, I think we were losing 29-30 or 29-30 or something like that. And I got fouled right at the end. And just one of those memories of all that practice. And then it came true that there was no time on the clock, and I'm at the foul line, and there's 2 shots left, and I'm thinking I'm LeBron James before LeBron James was even thought of. And I sank those 2 free throws, and we ended up winning 31-30 and winning the championship.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Fond memory.
That's a great fond memory. That's a high there. DJ, what was one of your fondest memory up to this point of football? Of course, you know, and I know basketball, you have some great memories as well. But tell us, just one that really just kind of stood out and made you the most proud.
I have to say my favorite one would have to be my senior year when we played Mays High School, and I had 22 tackles. I ended up, that was definitely, I don't want to say I started off the game slow, but I started off in the first half with, I want to say like 5 or 6 tackles. Something like that, come in the locker room, stuff like that. Come my teammate telling me like, come on, DJ, we need you, stuff like that. Come out in the second half, shoot, I'm just kicked in.
Yeah.
I'm talking about I was all over the field, stuff like that. Yeah, I took the game over, put it in my hands.
Yes, I remember
But
you put the defense on your back because
Yeah.
I was coaching you, and I coached you your senior year.
Yeah.
I came on to be a D-line coach because they needed a D-line coach.
Yeah. And that and the game for my sophomore year, we played Ola.
That was a good one, the Ola game.
Until the end.
Yeah. Until the end. Yeah. We're going to leave that for another time.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, that's a good one, DJ.
What about you?
Well, tell you what, I've had a few, but I would say the most was the pinnacle of my NFL career when we was playing it was around this time, playing with the New York Giants, playing the Redskins. At the time, they're called the Washington Commanders now. But the Redskins back then, in 2002, I never forget, I was a swing man. I could play the inside and out, and I was the nickel guy. I come in on third down, me and Jason Sehorn, he was the nickel back, and I was the nickel defensive tackle. And we had some key injuries in that game, and we was like down maybe about 3 points. And I came in and just made some key plays to help us get the ball back to win and stuff. Made a 3rd-and-1 play to where it get us the ball back and we score off of it. And I just remember after we won that game, because this is a divisional game, the Redskins are in our division. And I was just so happy, like, man, I belong. Like all this hard work, I was able to start, and be a starter in the NFL. You know what I mean? And that was one of my fondest memories. And you was there, you was in the stands during that time. But it let me know that all that hard work and that perseverance that I went through, to get where I'm at, just like, hey, everybody, Michael Strahan and all of them, dapping me up, man, that was a great play and stuff like this. And just seeing that, hey, man, I belong here too. You know what I'm saying? So that was a good, fun memory.
So we're a family of trusting the process in our own ways, right? And so, depending on what you feed your kids in the process, depends on what you're going to get out at the end. So make sure you feed them well.